I call the Township of Aleppo Commissioners meeting on November 20th, 2023 to order at 7 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
President Jones.
Present.
Vice President Williams.
Present.
Commissioner Haluka.
Present.
Solicitor Stone.
Here.
Manager Powers. Here.
This meeting, as all others, is being recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube. Do I hear a motion to approve the workshop meeting minutes?
Motion to approve the November 13th, 2023 workshop meeting minutes.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Chief?
Good evening, everyone. For the month of October, we had a total of 61 calls. 35 of those, of course, are EMS assist. The rest vary, some alarms, some different issues in the industrial park, a couple of hit and runs, some disorderly conduct issues, but nothing that would flow over to anything else. All was dealt with. We had 9 traffic citations and several warnings were issued. Had a complaint while I-79's traffic was getting backed up on Glenfield Road. We dealt with that the best we could, semi-trailers, try to divert them the best that we can. Hopefully all of that of I-79 is coming to a stop sooner soon, let's hope, right? I keep saying that every month, but you know, it looks like they're winding things down, so the traffic should go back to normal from years ago, let's hope, right? Other than that, I don't have anything else for the township. Any questions or concerns?
Chief, I missed it. How many EMS calls
35,
out of a total of?
61. Questions, concerns for me?
Yeah, you know what's coming next.
Yeah, I do. I
What
always
can
say
we do
it.
for you?
See something, say something. Lock your car doors, as always. That's still very prevalent. Stolen vehicles in the region, theft from vehicles in the area. See something, say something, for sure.
Yeah, I think see something, say something is very important.
Oh, I agree. Helps us do our job,
Yeah.
for sure.
Chief, do you know how many of those EMS calls are Masonic?
Vast majority. Not all,
Could you
but
get me that number?
a percentage of it?
10%.
Would you like it by year or just by
That
month?
would be
or-
perfect if you had it by the.
Yeah, we can definitely.
If
do
it's
it for
easy.
you.
I don't
Yeah,
want to put
that's
more
not
on
a
you,
problem.
but if it's just a click a button query,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate it.
yeah, that's not a problem, absolutely.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Nope.
Thank you
so
very much.
Have a wonderful
Thanks.
night.
Thanks, Chief.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
And to you.
Be safe, Chief.
Thank you so much.
Do I hear a motion regarding the police contract renewal?
I make a motion to exercise the first contract renewal option under the police contract with Ohio Township and to provide notification to Ohio Township of the same.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Gwen, anything to say?
We prepared the letter, and Harlan reviewed it based on the terms of the contract, so we'll be, making sure that gets over to Ohio Township this month.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Fire company, may I hear that motion?
I would love to make the motion to authorize our solicitor to draft a new 5-year agreement with Aleppo Township Fire Department at a 4% increase and to contribute $22,500 per year for a 5-year duration toward the purchase of a new squad vehicle.
Right.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You have a question? Oh, good. Motion passes. So Chief, would you like to give a report?
All right.
I hate to do this. Would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, Bill Davis Jr., Aleppo Township Volunteer Fire Company's fire chief. First, I want to thank the board for looking at the contract with the fire company. Everybody knows that everything's getting more expensive. It's getting harder to do what we need to do with the limited funding that we have. So with the cost of the vehicles, we actually have new program we're putting together to help subsidize some of our members, paid per call status. Just a different time frame than what we had years ago. So hopefully this will work out, and we appreciate the hard work. We appreciate the meetings that we had. This is going to a nice 5-year contract for us. We're very excited. Just real quick, the fire company, we've had 195 calls so far this year. 67 in Sookley Heights, in that Sookley Heights district, 129 in the Aleppo district. Now, of the 129, 84 of those are mutual aid. So like I said last time, we have 2 districts that we report on. The Aleppo district, that consists of Aleppo Township and all of our mutual aid. So we go out of town, we go to Bellevue, Ambridge, whatever. That actually leaves 45 calls in Aleppo for the year. It's getting more and more of going mutual aid, just with the limited manpower that everybody's experiencing. So you're seeing now that there's 4 or 5 companies for a fire alarm activation, where years ago we didn't have that. It was your home company would respond to a fire alarm. Now it's 3 companies.
Chief, how many mutual aids came in for calls into Aleppo? How many times did you utilize mutual aid, do you know?
I don't know that exact number, but it's probably under 6.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. We've been fortunate. We have, the way the run card systems are set up, the county wants so many vehicles per call. We have been fortunate we can cover our calls with our people and our equipment. So if it does go anywhere between a reported structure, smoke or fire showing, it's an automatic second alarm. We don't control that, county dispatches that, so then we get additional companies to come in. As I said last time I was here, the new engine is still at the body shop getting repaired. Hopefully we'll see that within the next month. They had a major setback on the truck. And the new squad will be done by Christmas. We're excited to see this vehicle, especially with the township being contributing to the vehicle. That's a tremendous help for us. The vehicle, I don't know if we talked about it before, but the new squad is being purchased by Aleppo Township and 50% Sookley Heights. So that's a huge bonus for us, and we greatly appreciate it. Thank you that all attended the open house too. I mean, it was kind of a crappy day for it. It was cold,
It was fun.
but we had probably, I don't know, 50, 70 people come through. A lot of little kids enjoyed themselves, so. Patty was here, she was one of the kids.
You notice he treats me as an
I
adult.
had to try all the cookies.
Yeah. But thank you very much, and look forward to next 5 years.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Emergency management,
No report. We are managed thus far.
Public Works.
Oh, he's taller than I am. Good evening, Tim Scott, Public Works Supervisor. A lot of the same old stuff. We did have meetings with PennDOT and Allegheny County, one on Deer Run Road with PennDOT, and one on Glen Mitchell Road with Allegheny County. We have not heard back from Allegheny County on anything that we discussed on Glen Mitchell, but everybody's seen what's going on Deer Run Road, the new pipe being put in. Excuse me. Well, both trucks have the salt spreaders in them now. We had to rebuild the A-frame on one of the snow plows. And I'm sure everybody knows that Youngblood Paving is working on our parking lot right now, and it's just a mess. It's a good thing the meeting's here.
Any questions for Public Works?
Oh, and the new truck, the body should be done this week, so hopefully next week it'll go to get the hydraulics done.
Just before the first snow.
I hope so.
Thanks. Thank you, Tim. Is there a motion to submit a letter to PennDOT?
Yes, so I submit a letter to PennDOT requesting a school bus stop ahead of a sign on Duff Road.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Communications.
We had one contact from a resident this month, a resident on Merriman Road concerned about safety when Amazon employees are stopped along the road while waiting for their time slot in the delivery lineup. These seem to be cars that are individual owner delivery cars, because they still run some of those, they aren't all vans. Not necessarily people who work inside the building, and so they can't line up in their queue until their appointed time, so they arrive early and kind of lurk around in the neighborhood. So it's gonna be a topic of discussion at our next meeting with Amazon.
Anything else in communications? Planning and zoning, do I hear a motion?
Motion to enter into a service agreement for a zoning officer with Quaker Valley COG, a resolution of the board and subject to review by the solicitor, and authorizing the appropriate township official to execute the document on behalf of the township.
Do you have anything to elaborate on that, Gwen? Oh, sorry, second by
Okay.
Commissioner Williams.
So this is for a zoning officer. We have had our engineering company work, serving as our temporary zoning officer during this transition time as we struggled to find someone to replace Jeff Frazier. So this, the COG offers a service where they contract with a certified zoning officer to do the zoning review work. So we've gone back and forth all year about this arrangement and the terms of the arrangement, and Harlan has reviewed and, made some changes to the agreement that suit Aleppo, and so they agreed to the changes. So this will be appointing a zoning officer to handle zoning reviews, zoning violations, and zoning, just general zoning questions.
And the need for this was caused by,
We had a all-in-one person who served as a zoning officer, building inspector, and code enforcement officer, and he passed away, and so we're now finding individuals to fill each of those three roles.
thank you, any questions?
Finish the motion.
Did anybody read the motion?
Yeah, you got the second, you just have to finish the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Tax collector treasurer.
You have that report in your packet, and this is the report through the end of October. The real estate tax collected so far for the year, is $509,620, and our budget was $510,000. So we are only $379.53 off from our anticipated budget amount, so that was
Damn.
pretty close. Delinquent real estate, we've actually collected $6,000 more than the budget. Realty transfer tax, we've collected $27,000 more than the budget, and that's the one that is for all the sales that happen in the township, so that one's a little bit less able to predict. If it's a good market year, then we will get more money because more houses sold. Earned income tax, we are right on budget. Our budget was $250 and we're at $254. Local services tax, we are a little bit short, but we still have till the end of the year. And business privilege tax, we're $4,000 short, but some of those come in at the end of the year as well.
Any questions? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the October bill list, et cetera?
I make a motion to approve the October bill list in the amount of $69,270.79, to ratify the October prepaid bills in the amount of $10,975.01, and to ratify the October payroll transfers in the amount of $18,342.18.
Is there a second?
There is.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Presentation of 2024 budget draft.
Okay, so, what I'm passing out, if you could just, they're named, so take yours and pass them around. And then if the public wants to, a couple extra copies here for the public. So what you are receiving is a full detailed budget, proposed budget for 2024. Their first thing, there's a summary page there that's going out to the public, and that's the first thing that talks about the budget for the last 4 years. So it'll show the last 3 adopted budgets and then the proposed budget. That'll be on the 5th page of your packet right there. And then beyond that, the single line items for each thing. So the memo here goes over some of the key highlights, and I'm not gonna read this whole memo, but I'll hit a few of the points for, you guys in the public. Some of the, highlights of the revenue sources for the proposed 2024 budget. Property taxes are proposed to go down a little bit. We've heard a lot about the common level ratio assessment court case. And we think that might actually reach a resolution in 2024, and we've been warned with various presentations all through the year that the property tax collection numbers might be a little lower. So we've reduced that by anticipated amount by about $20,000. Top headline, there's no proposed tax increase for this year, so it's expected to hold at 3.5 mils. Earned income tax, we're keeping for the same, because we're coming in right kind of at budget, so we're keeping the same. Local services tax also staying the same. We give 1/3 of the local services tax to the Aleppo Township Volunteer Fire Company, and so that's reflected in the revenue, and then you'll see it going out under the fire line item. Interest earnings were up a lot this year, but I'm not sure how that will hold for the following year, so I increased our interest budget, expected revenue budget, but not by as much as we earned this year. Transfers from other funds category, we have $339,753 budgeted to be transferred from the fund balance, which is what the 2022 audit showed was unspent in '22. We get that audit at the mid to late 2023, so then that number of unspent funds can get carried over into the following year budget. So that's how that works. I give my caveat every year that number's not always guaranteed to be there. We could get an audit where we overspent our budget, and that lump sum would not be available to plug the hole in the next year's budget, so that's not ever a guaranteed revenue amount. For expenditures, salaries are proposed to be increased at 3.2%, which mirrors the federal cost of living adjustment for 2024. Legal fees and engineering fees have remained consistent for this year. A lot of the legal fees that we receive or the engineering fees are incurred by the developers, and so they're passed on. So while the overall legal or engineering might look like it's higher, we get reimbursed for a lot of those when people come in for developments and need review. We have $35,000 budgeted in the building category for the replacement of the HVAC unit on the roof of the meeting room, which needs to be done, and the potential replacement of the sewer line underneath the township building, which we are still gonna get some proposals for. The other thing that was a fire company new contract, so this budget will show a 4% increase at the same starting number instead of a 2, and then it also includes a 22.5 contribution towards the truck that'll be in for 5 years. Paving, we have a much smaller amount budgeted for this year. We had a large paving project this year, and for next year, we're just looking to see if there's some tar and chip that can be done on some of our lower traveled roads. So that'll be an expense, a potential expense, but that's offset by income from our capital improvement savings fund. So it's a net wash in the budget. Still saving for the truck fund, so we have $51,000 put aside this year. $47,000 is for trucks and $4,000 is for larger equipment, and that money sits in our Pliga Plus account, and we keep a track of what we've spent and what we saved for that, and or if we sold a small piece of equipment or bought a thumb attachment or something like that. That all comes from the truck fund. And then $309,750 has been allocated under transfer to capital improvement. That is the money that we will be putting away for paving, this year. That money the goal is a minimum of $200,000, and we're fortunate enough with this budget to be able to put away $309,750. So you have that memo with, a couple more details on it, and then you have the summary budget and then the detailed budget. So the budget needs to be adopted via ordinance, and so that'll happen at the December legislative meeting so that we can advertise everything. So you have a couple weeks to, look over this. If you have any other questions about, most of you have looked over, the basics of it already, but if you have any other specific questions about line items, let me know and I can address that, and then we can talk about it one last time at the workshop, and then the board could vote to adopt the budget at the December legislative meeting.
Just for clarification, the capital improvement fund is synonymous with the reserve funding, am I correct?
It is
It's a question I got this week and I just wanna clarify it.
So we have something called a reserve account, which is just our last resort rainy day account that has like $112,000 in it. That's the thing we touch last. If we have to touch that, we've had problems way up before we get to that fund. That's our little safety net. But the capital improvements fund could be considered the paving reserve fund or the roads reserve
Yes.
fund.
That's
Yes,
the clarification.
yes,
Thank you.
And it's based upon an engineer's projection of the cost to maintain the roads over a 20-year period.
yes,
So it's based on a reserve study.
yes.
So we came up with, if it takes 2 million for 10 years, we put 200,000 in per year, we stay steady.
Yes. So if you have any questions over the next 2 weeks as you look it over, please ask them and email me or call me or stop in.
Gwen, thank you for all that work.
Okay,
Thank you very much, Gwen.
do it,
Okay.
thank you.
And like she said, we can discuss this further at the workshop meeting in December. Do I hear a motion to make the discretionary annual contribution?
A motion to make the discretionary annual contribution of $40,000 from the sewer bond fund to the Aleppo Township Authority.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Just clarification, when we did the second refinancing of the original sewer bonds, it saved $80,000 per year in debt payments. So we decided it would be appropriate to give half of that to the authority to maintain the aging system. So that's what we've done. And in the event that the township incurred some special expense related to the sewer, we may not contribute the $40,000, because as our solicitor pointed out, it is discretionary. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Quaker Valley Ambulance Authority. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to support the annual campaign of Quaker Valley Ambulance Authority with a $250 donation.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
I'm sorry.
And-
I was reading. I can't do two
We
things.
didn't have a lot of options tonight.
No, we didn't.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Quaker Valley COG.
No report other than what the executive director has already given us in writing.
Mr. Solicitor.
No report.
And Commissioner Williams, were you going to give a brief report on the conference?
Yes. On, last month, we had, Gwen and I went to the seminar in Erie for 3 days, and it was pretty well attended, but it's, I think that, what am I saying here? I want to comment on the hard work that our solicitor put into putting it together, because it was very well done.
Thank you, Art.
Gwen and I sort of split up in there, and so I'm going to handle the part that was for the emergency management. There were 4 very knowledgeable speakers who advised a number of things that go forward in terms of personnel. And that room was completely full. There wasn't a chair vacant at all, so that shows you the concerns that I have. As they went through all of the stipulations, as the speakers went through the stipulations that they felt was necessary, I might add that Aleppo came out very, very well. We were very busy putting up our hands at what was already done, and I want to comment on Judy's hard work to do that. I do have a few notes that I'll go over with Judy on personnel. But all in all, I think that Aleppo came off exceedingly well in that very important category. And I would, quite frankly, if they put it on twice, I would go back and go.
Yeah, they were
Who
good.
was the speaker?
We had Phil Barker from Pima,
yeah.
Steve Bicehouse, Butler County Emergency
that's why,
Services,
okay.
and Ronald Mertz, Westmoreland County Public Safety. So they were dynamic speakers.
Yes.
Yeah, they're all many year
Many-
emergency management people.
Yes, and like Art was saying, it was good to hear because they talked about a lot of the things, like you need to have this and you need to have an emergency man, and we were just sitting there going, yeah, we have that,
It's those guys I've worked
good.
with for a lot of years.
yeah, so it was nice to be in the room going, yeah, I don't really need to take notes on what we need because we have it, so that.
I only got a half a page. I will say one thing, that quite a number of the people in the room left me with the impression that they hadn't taken one step forward on all of this.
It's shocking. No.
Yeah.
What happens just from a resident perspective is that nobody realizes that it's in the background until there's a number of things that you don't qualify for without it. And so when there's a need for, monies for floods, for landslides, for, some asteroid that hits Wickley Heights Manor or whatever, some of that funding is in fact not available unless you've checked off those boxes. As legal people like to say, you have to come to the table with clean hands
Yep.
before you ask for a handout, and part of having that in place is the clean hands that it takes. So, it is, a lot of people always say to me, why do we have emergency management, why do we spend all the time doing that, when, what are the chances that an asteroid's gonna fall on the Masonic? Oh, why did I say that? But, the fact is, it's more than that, it's coming with clean hands so that the township qualifies for all of those things that we can meet.
Well, I too want to thank our solicitor for all the work he does for that conference, and I want to thank our 2 attendees. And our rule of thumb has always been, if we learn more than we pay, we go.
Very worthwhile, very worthwhile.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best seminars that I've sat in 8 to 10 years.
And I attended a grant workshop with Jonna Pro from DCED, and she's a dynamic speaker too.
Yes,
and
she
you
is.
learned
Yes, she
you
is.
learned what to do and what not to do when applying for a grant through them. So that was also very useful. There were some really engaging sessions.
Any additional comments? Unfinished business. New business. Citizen participation. We have a guest. You pass. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Any other new business? We're adjourned.